welcome back to the channel. I'm Lauren. You are watching the Valentines, where we cover all things homegrown and homemade. And today I am making an everyday wellness herbal tea recipe. This recipe is going to be for our daily drinking at home. My husband and I especially like to enjoy a cup of herbal tea in the evenings before we go to bed. So I'm making a really big batch of it. I've got my little boy tagging along with me for this video. Hi, bud. And that's because that's how we can get things done some days, right, bud? These videos wouldn't happen if it weren't for this baby carrier. So I'd like to get right into it today. I'm gonna go through and tell you what I'm adding and why as I do it. And I kind of have this broken down into kind of 3 different phases. And this is how I kind of like to approach blending herbal teas. So the first phase is kind of like, what do I want to be the main flavor profile of the tea? So I'll be adding a mix of items that achieve that. And then I'm gonna add in a couple other things that are for a little bit more like nutritional value, mostly the vitamins and the minerals that I wanna have in this daily drinking tea. And then finally, I'm adding a couple things that are mainly just for the visual aesthetic. We eat and consume things with our eyes first, and so I'm going to be adding a couple herbs that really aren't going to matter much for the flavor profile or the benefits of the herbs. It's just to make it like incredibly beautiful, so that when we see it on the shelf, we are more likely to pull it off and consume it. So let's get started. This is going to be mostly a chamomile and mint flavored tea. So I've got lots of German chamomile here, or Matricaria recitata. And for this recipe, I'm using a cup measurement as my parts. I like to list the recipes in parts because you can make the batch as large or small as you want. Your part could be a cup and it could be a batch size the same as mine. Or your part could be a teaspoon and you can make just a small jar. Or your part could be one whole one of these and you make a ton. I have been selling teas at farmers markets for 5 years now. So this recipe is just something I came up with off the top of my head based on what I like and some knowledge that I picked up over the years. And I think that yeah, simple is good. We don't need to overthink some of these recipes sometimes. That chamomile smells great. So again, I'm not being super precise, but what I want to do is I want, whoa, okay. A lot came out, so I'm gonna call that about 4 parts or 4 cups of chamomile. And I may add a little bit more later. I'm gonna reserve the right to do that, so I'm gonna have that to the side. The next flavor that I want in this tea is minty. And for that, I actually like to combine spearmint and peppermint. I think that they're nice together. The peppermint is like super spicy, whereas the spearmint is a little bit more savory, a little bit more cool. And so they complement each other well, if you ask me. So I'm going to be adding 2 parts or 2 cups of each. So we'll start with the peppermint here, or mentha paprika. Oh yeah, love that beautiful peppermint smell. Now, of course, chamomile is super calming and often found in a sleepy time tea. And indeed, the time of day that we drink tea the most is usually the evenings. A lot of people would consider mint a very energizing herb, but I also find it just very soothing. And it also just the flavor profile goes well with chamomile. So that's one of the reasons that I'm including it. So that was my peppermint. Now my spearmint or mentha spicata. It's just a less spicy, a little cooler, a little more calm than peppermint is, and a little more savory in flavor. And I actually grow all of these out in my garden. If you've seen any of my recent videos, you know I have a ton of spearmint and peppermint. I recently made a video on how I can some mint julep syrup using those. So I will link that so you can check that out if you like. I've also grown both Roman and German Chamomile in the past. So this jar only has about a quarter cup left in it, so I'm just gonna use it all. Again, we don't need to overthink these recipes. It is not an exact science. It's a folk art. It's an art. So there we go. So right now I've got my chamomile and my mints mixed in here. And it's already looking like a pretty beautiful blend here, but we're gonna continue and add some more. But the main flavor profile of the tea is already achieved. Oh, I'm just kidding. I actually forgot. I want to add one more flavor element to the tea, and that's going to be lemon verbena. So a lot of my teas that I sell, as well as you'll find like a common trio will be spearmint, peppermint, and lemon balm. I'm doing lemon verbena today. It has a stronger lemon smell than lemon balm, but it's actually more of a lighter, subtle flavor than lemon balm. So lemon verbena or Alosia citriodora, and oh yeah, it just smells wonderful. So I'm just gonna do one part of that to kind of bridge the gap between the flavor profiles of the spearmint and peppermint. Cool, okay, I'm glad I remembered that. Okay, so now with the addition of the lemon verbena, we've completed the main flavor profile of the tea. Next, I'm gonna add in some more just really beneficial ingredients. And first up is going to be red raspberry leaf or Rubus idaeus. Red raspberry leaf is just really high in antioxidants and minerals. In fact, if anyone's a fan of the American herbalist Susan Weed, she talks a lot about just teas in general as being nourishing herbal infusions. And I'm just adding one part of red raspberry leaf. So it's nice and fluffy. A lot of people think it tastes like red raspberry. It does not. It simply just tastes like a black tea. It's very earthy. So we'll get that mixed in. Anyway, back to Susan Weed. She talks about nourishing herbal infusions, and she makes the point that just having a simple glass of herbal tea is such an easy and affordable way to get many vitamins, minerals, and just trace nutrients that we don't get a lot in our modern food system anymore in this world where we're eating a lot of processed foods and things like that. So just another reason to appreciate these beautiful herbs. Okay, so red raspberry leaf was added for its antioxidants and flavonoids. And next up is going to be stinging nettle, Urtica dioica. Stinging nettle is also just filled with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, and it's one of the more nutritionally dense plants on the planet. And again, it's the taste here is going to be underwhelming. It's not, it just tastes kind of like a black tea or a brown tea. So just one part of that as well to give our tea a vitamin and mineral boost. All right, so that is the bulk of our tea here. And it's coming together quite nicely. And I've got a nice big batch that I'm gonna put in a really large jar. And so here we go, I'm gonna add a few more things. So I'm gonna add one part of lavender flowers, Lavandula and Gustifolia. Now lavender flowers by themselves do make quite a nice infusion. It's a very gentle floral taste, very ethereal if you ask me, but they're probably going to get quite masked by the other flavor elements in this tea, to be quite honest with you. So they're gonna get overshadowed by the other ingredients, but the main reason I'm adding them is for aesthetic. They're beautiful. Especially this is a high quality batch. and they're just a lovely bright purple color. Oh yeah, I was talking about herbs that I grow in the garden. I do grow a lot of herbs in the garden, and I do dry them, and I do make tea with them from time to time. However, less so these days since I have a small baby. And these are all sourced from organic suppliers. I like to use mountain rose herbs, or some of these are from Frontier Organic Co-op. And also I use Star West Botanicals sometimes. So those are just some ideas for you if you're looking to get some of these yourself. Yep, so our Lavender Buds are a very beautiful addition to the aesthetic of this. Next, I'm gonna add 1 part of Rose Buds. Same thing. Man, they smell great. They're gonna get masked by the other ingredients, really, but they're gonna add a super, super pop to this aesthetic. Okay, last but not least, to round out the aesthetic and to complete this everyday wellness tea is Calendula officinalis, or calendula. Calendula is part of the marigold family, and I chose it today because it has these just beautiful popping bright orange and yellow petals. They don't have any special flavor. It's not gonna, the amount that we're using is not gonna add a ton medicinally to the tea, but it's just gonna pop when I'm rummaging through my cabinet and I see it on the shelf, and it's gonna invite me to have my own cup of nourishing herbal infusion. Now, calendula is super, super popular for like topical skincare formulations, and that's because it has a natural wax in it. It is really close to some of the natural wax in the skin. And there's some other reasons as well. Whoa! Let's see. Oh, I'm gonna have to get a glove and pull this out. Speaking of gloves, I should probably mention I don't have on my gloves and hairnets today because this is all for personal use, but you usually see me in full cafeteria queen style. Ooh, it's so pretty. Oh yeah, this is really popping with the calendula. I feel very happy about my decision to add that. Oh wow. So beautiful. I wish you could smell it here with me. The smell and the sight are kind of what draw you into these beautiful herbal blends at first. And this is kind of what made me fall in love with herbalism and to become a hobby herbalist. Wow. Okay. So upon looking at this and just my personal preference and experience, I am gonna add more chamomile, and I'm gonna add 2 more cups of chamomile, bringing it to a total of 6 parts. And that's because I know that while chamomile's flavor is distinct, it is subtle. Excuse me. It is subtle, and I just feel like the mint and the nettle and even the red raspberry leaf are gonna dampen it a little bit. So 2 more parts of chamomile, and that's gonna do it for us. And then I'll show you guys this beautiful finished product, and we'll have a cup as well. Would you look at that? This is our beautiful, gorgeous everyday wellness blend. Like, how could you not want to drink that when you see that sitting in a pretty little jar on your shelf? Definitely the addition of these florals just makes you want to get this nourishing blend on a daily basis. All right, let's take a try. Still really hot. Smells great. It's really soothing. It's pretty much what I was going for. I put just a hint of maple syrup. You get the chamomile, you get the mint, you get a little bit of brightness from the Lemon Verbena. Oh, this is definitely an evening ritual, a daily ritual that I look forward to. It's so calming and relaxing. And I think I'm gonna go enjoy this while I play with my little boy. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another video. I'm so grateful. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I have lots more videos already coming and in the works, and I'll see you next time.